It's Wild and Wacky Wednesday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton with the wildest and wackiest co-host I know, Chris Yao, who will take us through that final segment later today as we discuss the weirdest, wildest, and wackiest news from around the globe and quite likely Florida. Welcome in.
Hey, glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you, especially since Wade is somewhere in West Tennessee, getting ready for a Richland and McKenzie Class 1A sectional best of three series over there. If it goes to a third game, he'll still be in West Tennessee tomorrow. So no pressure, Mark S. and the Raiders, but we need Wade back.
Yes, please.
So
it's what the listeners want.
One way or the other, Mark, we need Wade back.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that at that. Big show today. In our second hour, we will visit with Willie G. Ramirez out of Las Vegas. The WNBA had their regular season opening night last night, and quiet as it's kept, the Las Vegas Aces are going for their third straight WNBA championship. You may not know that, because
if you watch this show, you know that.
If you watch this show on the regular, you know that. If you are new to the WNBA, then probably all you know is that the Indiana Fever is 0-1. So, but anyway, we're going to talk to Willie G. Ramirez later in the show about the rest of the league. We'll probably talk about the Fever as well. In the next segment, we will visit with Heather Williams, our NASCAR analyst, coming to you from WCYB up in Johnson City. Brad Keselowski ended a lengthy winning drought with his win over at Darlington this past weekend. We will get with Heather on that and more from the Vroom Vroom circuit. Also going to talk a little Braves, talk a little Astros, talk a little local baseball standouts or former local baseball standouts who turned in a pretty, what's better than solid? Stellar, maybe?
Stellar's a good word.
Performance last night. We'll talk more about that. Also, we had Terry McCormick on yesterday talking a little Cats, a little AFL. Well, as
I'm here.
As is so often the case on this show, there was some news that broke regarding that conversation after the show got over with. Chris will get us up to speed on that as well. So, a lot to talk about here over the next 2 hours, and that's what we will do. Let's talk to you about local, regional, and national sports topics over the next 2 hours, right up until 4 o'clock. We will be here. So, get in, sit down, shut up, and hang on. Chris, where you been the last couple of days?
Where have I been?
Where haven't I asked you?
Where haven't I been? That's the real question. No, it's been a very fun week of getting caught up from being on this show twice last week, so I didn't get a chance to hit all of my places. So it needed to be.
Yeah, let's do this. Because I don't know that everybody necessarily understands what created your continued sustained absence since maybe early to mid-February. So catch people
that makes sense. So in February, early February 5th to be exact.
Hank Aaron's birthday.
Hey, that's a good day.
Pam Patton's birthday.
Even look. Come on, February 5th. Is there a better day?
Yeah.
People are talking.
Yeah.
Just saying. I was promoted in Main Street Media's company to. Yeah, I got a title, a new one, as regional publisher, which affords me the opportunity, as we will put it, to visit 6 of our newspapers in the northwest corner of our area, our region.
I like that phrase.
Afforded me the opportunity.
I'm going to hang on to that. Yeah.
I am technically over operations in Clarksville, at Main Street Clarksville, the Houston County Herald, the Dixon Post, the Cheatham County Exchange, the Main Street Fairview, and the Robertson County Connection. Those are the 6 papers that I am in charge, involved, whatever with, and I'm doing a lot of traveling to those areas. So
Because you are still living.
I still live here in Columbia, so I'm traveling a lot to those areas, which means, during the middle of the day, I may be in Jolton and trying to get on the show sometimes from there. But I'm typically in the car around this time, so I'm usually watching, trying to get in and around the area. But so yeah, I've been kind of my duties have changed within the company. Went from covering sports and news here in Murray County to doing a lot of things that don't necessarily involve coverage of anything. And so that is where I've been. So now that we got that out the way.
Yeah, because I've had folks ask me,
what's going on?
Where do that? And so I figured it was easier for you to explain where do that than for me to try to do so. So that's good. That's a good thought. It's a good thought. I have one every now and then, contrary to popular belief. Yeah. So that's where he's been. And that's what we're going to do here over the next hour and 50 plus minutes. So let's go ahead and get into the show and give you yesterday's results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
Start with high school boys soccer. That's fun. Beach defeated Antioch. Now, help me here. Are these elimination games?
These should be region semifinal games here. And this game in particular was delayed about 2 hours as I was kind of tracking Blaine Keller on his Twitter account last night. But yeah, and Antioch was up, I think, but did not stay up. So go ahead.
Winners
advance.
Losers season ends here.
That's it.
All right. Beach 4, Antioch 3, Laverne 3, Blackman 1. Clarksville Downs Northwest 5-2. Chester County was a 3-1 winner over Fairview. Hendersonville blanks Overton 4-0. It was Lexington 3-1 winners over Creekwood. Murfreesboro Central 2-1 winners against Livingston Academy. Ravenwood Downs Coffee County 6-0. Rockville Edges Lebanon 3-2. Brentwood a 1-0 winner over Shelbyville. And Rossview douses West Creek 8-0. Major League Baseball action last night. Braves 7, Cubs 0. Astros 2-1 winners over the Athletics, and the Sounds were 12-2 winners against Jacksonville and the Jumbo Shrimp.
I like that. Today's schedule: high school baseball, 5 o'clock starts for Knoxville Catholic at Christ Presbyterian Academy. Also a 5 o'clock start for Camden Central at Loretto. They will play 2 games. Second game will follow. Richland is at McKenzie for a 5 o'clock start to a doubleheader. Silverdale plays 2 at Columbia Academy starting at 5 o'clock. At 5:30, Eagleville hosting Collinwood in a doubleheader. At 6 o'clock, Green Hill is at Nolensville. No start times available for Lincoln County at Beach, Collierville at Clarksville, White House at Creekwood, Smith County at East Nashville, Cleveland at Siegel, East Robertson at South Pittsburgh, Chester County at Station Camp, or Whites Creek at White House Heritage. Those are all in Division I. Those are all sectional games. In Division II, those are state quarterfinal games, and they are best of 3 series in D2. Softball, these are region final games. 5 o'clock first pitch. Summertown is at Community. Macon County is at Greenbrier. At 5:30, Westmoreland goes to Liberty Creek. At 6 o'clock, Mount Juliet is at Green Hill. Stop me if you've heard that. No time listed for Stewart's Creek at Smyrna or Lexington at Creekwood.
Boys soccer tonight. Laverne is at Rockville for a 7 p.m. first touch. Times unknown for Huntington at Harpeth, and Franklin County taking on Murfreesboro Central Magnet. Major League Baseball tonight. Cubs and Braves finish their series tonight at 6:20. It says ESPN Plus / MLB Network, so I'm not sure if that's a Bally option or not.
No, it's definitely on Bally because this is the four-man booth tonight.
That's right.
Chipper, Glavin, McCann, and I think Frenchie's up there.
Frenchie.
Yeah. So
Brandon Gaughan will be at the house.
Yeah, exactly. With his popcorn, as he said. Yeah. Would love to have gotten him on today, by the way. But yeah, if you see a Braves game all year on Bally, make it this one tonight, by the way. I got to tape that.
There you go. Athletics at Astros at 7:10. The Sounds are currently in the top of the 6th inning with 1 on and 2 out. They lead 2-1 over the Jumbo Shrimp. And tonight over at Geodis on Apple TV, you can watch the Nashville Soccer Club hosting Toronto FC.
7:30?
That is a 7:30 on Apple TV.
On Apple TV. Also, WNBA, the Chicago Sky is at Dallas taking on the Wings. That is a 7 o'clock start. And at 9 o'clock, yeah, those are Central Time starts. Okay. And at 9 o'clock, the Atlanta Dream is in LA taking on the Sparks. I do not know what the television situation is for either of those because where I'm looking, I don't have that information, unfortunately, but that is your rundown. Your top story brought to you, as always, by Piggly Wiggly over at Neely's Mill here in Columbia. Be sure and check out their delicious daily deli lunch items as well as their hand-cut meats. And everything is cost plus 10% at the cash register. The fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, and sweet potatoes, and pecan cobbler were on point this afternoon. So, Piggly Wiggly bringing you our top story, and we've got a couple of them. One, the NFL's 2024 schedule is scheduled to come out this evening. Apparently, their international schedule has already made its way into the public forum. There are 5 games that will be played internationally. We've talked about the game down in Brazil. They've got 3 in England and 1 in Germany, and I don't have any of those in front of me, Chris. So if you do, have at it.
Well, why don't we just go ahead and do the other one first, and that way I can get to that.
Well, we will do the other one then, which I just got in front of me and just X'd out of it. Hang on a minute. The other one is the Tennessee Sports Writers Association has announced its baseball players of the week. I guess they have discontinued softball with that season pretty well wound down at this point. But Trevecca Junior infielder Cole McCallum hit .529 with 5 runs driven in and 5 runs scored on the week as Trevecca won the Great Midwest Athletic Conference Tournament Championship. Apparently, he hit a pair of home runs in the GMAC tournament, helping the Trojans to their second NCAA Division II regional appearance in 3 seasons. Middle Tennessee State pitcher Trace Phillips, formerly of Grace Christian up in Franklin, or Leaper's Fork, more specifically, showed off his talents in multiple ways, actually. He threw a couple of shutout innings, striking out 4 in a midweek appearance against Lipscomb, then went from there to first base and DH. Down at Jacksonville State in the final the next to the last regular season series in Conference USA play. Phillips threw 7 innings, striking out 9, giving up 1 earned run on 4 hits to earn the victory. So for the week, he threw 9 innings, giving up 1 earned run, striking out 13.
Solid. Seems good.
Solid.
Stellar.
So again, Cole McCallum of Trevecca is your Tennessee Sports Writers Association Player of the Week. Trace Phillips of MTSU is your TSWA Pitcher of the Week. Congratulations to both of them. Now, NFL international play for the 2024 season.
Week 1, September 6th on Peacock and NFL Plus. So hope you've got you're up to date on all of your subscriptions. The Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles, which means you will need to be up to date on your Peacock subscription, Mo.
I won't. I won't. Besides, that's a Friday night game. I ain't going to be there for it anyway.
Oh, okay. So Corinthians Arena in Sao Paulo, Brazil, not Sao Paulo, Antonio. Big difference.
Not San Paulo. Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
It's very hard to say.
It really is.
Yeah. Anyway, in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London on week 5, you'll catch at 8:30 in the morning breakfast with the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings. So that's also on NFL Network. So good luck finding that one. Also in that's not okay. Week 6, sorry, week 6. The
week later,
October 6th, week 5. Week 6, October 13th at 8:30 in the morning. The Chicago Bears will visit the Jacksonville Jaguars at Tottenham Hotspur again. So the Jaguars are going to be over there, period, because they've got 2 games in a row at the stadium in London, where they'll play the second one in Wembley against the New England Patriots at 8:30 in the morning on October 20th, also on NFL Network. In Allianz Arena in Munich, Germany, nobody will be wearing a NFL Europe uniform, which they absolutely should for these games, by the way. The New York Giants and the Carolina Panthers will play at 8:30 in the morning, and that is your international schedule. Those are not the only games that have been released, though.
No, they're not the only games that have been released, but they are the 5 international games. I'm intrigued by Jacksonville playing back-to-back weeks in London. This is the 2nd straight year that they've done it, apparently, and they went 2-0 over there last year. So look out for the Jags across the pond.
Well, and obviously their team owner owns a
soccer team,
a soccer club in the UK, so that is why they spend some time over there.
Well, and they don't necessarily draw great at their home stadium.
Well, and they're and next year they won't even have a home stadium, so there's that. But some of the things that I think are interesting, the Titans will be playing at least one game that has been leaked out there, and that is the Sunday night game, or the Sunday night football game on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. They will be playing at the Chargers of Los Angeles
on Thanksgiving
night. So that'll be fun.
Okay.
There are other games that have been leaked out there, such as the Bills and Dolphins on September 12th. That is the opening day.
Didn't I see something about the 49ers and the Jets on a Monday night?
Some of these are leaks. Some of these are actually announced, such as NFL and Netflix on Christmas Day. They're going to be airing two games. I don't think those games have been announced yet.
Mm-hmm.
But, so you can catch the rest of it tonight, the rest of the release tonight, and
we'll certainly talk about it tomorrow.
It'll be on the docket to talk about tomorrow for sure. So, man, this is going to be interesting, man. I'm really excited about these games that are in other places than London.
Yeah.
Because, I know that the London crowds have been really good over the last couple of years. I'm curious to see how it progresses from week 5 to 6 to 7. Is the newness worn off? Is it, the folks in Munich, I feel like, they had a good crowd last year. I feel like they'll probably have another good crowd this year.
I'm interested to see how the Brazil game goes. I agree. I think they will have a great crowd. I don't know how well it will be received on television here in the States because, again, Friday nights are high school nights, pretty much nationwide.
I thought they weren't allowed to broadcast. And maybe that's why it's on Peacock exclusively streaming.
I don't know. But between it being Friday night and it being stream only, I'm interested to see how that goes over. Hopefully it's not anything that encourages them to continue to do so.
The NFL is using a loophole in broadcasting rights to air the Eagles-Packers game on Friday, according to CBS Sports. Under the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, the league cannot televise games on Friday and Saturday. What is so you get some notifications over there?
I'm not getting notifications whenever I click on something that's doing that. And I don't know why.
Like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry.
They're not supposed to televise games on Friday or Saturday due to high school and college football. The law is only applicable from the second week of September to the second week of December. So September 6th would not be the second week of September.
No, it's not.
So it's not really a loophole. It's literally just
reading the schedule, reading the calendar.
It's just reading a calendar.
September 6th is not, it's the first week of September.
Exactly. It is. So there you go.
There's that. Again, the NFL schedule in its entirety is supposed to be released this evening. So we'll be talking about that, among other things, tomorrow. Tomorrow we also have in the second hour, we have Virgil Herring, PGA professional. He's going to come on with us and talk a little bit about the PGA Championship this weekend up in Louisville. And also, again, talk about Brentwood Academy phenom Blades Brown and his performance this past weekend over in Myrtle Beach. So be sure and check that out tomorrow with Virgil. I always enjoy having Virgil. Y'all had him on while I was gone. And after the Masters, I guess. And I'm sure that was fun. So, yeah. Let's go to a break from the Lee Company Studios here on West 7th in Columbia. When we come back to Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, we will be joined on an audio-only basis. Unfortunately, we don't get to see Heather Williams' pretty face, but she will be talking NASCAR when we come back. Stay tuned.
Bluegrass Auction Associates is hosting another real estate auction Saturday, June 8th at 10 a.m. in the beautiful Hickory Woods subdivision. This spacious estate offers numerous amenities, perfect for the homeowner or investor. Conveniently located in Davidson County, Tennessee at 221 Wild Grove Court. This is the sale you don't want to miss. Join Bluegrass and bid with confidence Saturday, June 8th at 10 a.m.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Wild and Wacky Wednesday continues here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. That's Chris Yao. I know you've not seen him for a while.
I am indeed.
But I'm Maurice Patton. We are coming to you from the Lee Company Studios here on West 7th in Columbia, and we are now joined. We will hear her voice. We will not see her face, but Heather Williams from WCYB of Johnson City joining us, talking a little NASCAR. Heather, where are you at?
I'm actually in Kansas City. I'll get on a flight tomorrow to come back, but I'm spending a little time at home with my family.
Good. That's awesome. Did you get home for Mother's Day?
I did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it was great.
That's great. Okay. Hey, from you
We'll allow it.
Obviously, you weren't at Darlington, but was Brad Keselowski able to find the winner's circle, or did he need directions, or how did that work?
I think he's able to find it. I mean, he certainly has won a lot in his career, and I think he knew when he made the jump over to take over as owner of his own race team and the situation that RFK Racing was in at the time he took it over, that it might be a while before he got to victory lane. And certainly, he would have liked to got there sooner, but he's been there, 4 times in the last 2 years as an owner with Chris Buescher. So yeah, he was perfectly comfortable finding his way to victory lane.
Snapped a 110 race losing streak with that win Sunday. His first win, as you said, as principal owner of RFK Racing, his second in Darlington, so he knew where winner's circle was, and his 36th over a successful career in Cup Series. But was that a name that you were really thinking about being at the top of the results this weekend, particularly, again, considering he had lost 110 straight?
I mean, yeah, he's been close. I mean, he's been in the top 5 and the top 10 for most of this year. And they always say in racing that if you can just keep ticking off top fives and top tens. Winner Circle is eventually going to find you. So plus Darlington is such a track that fits a driver like Brad. Generally, the older veteran, more seasoned guys do well at Darlington because it's so tough to drive, but it doesn't seem like it should be hard. So a lot of younger guys will wear out their equipment, will drive it too hard, will make mistakes that will cost them, and especially when it comes down to the end of the race. So, I mean, he wasn't like, I wouldn't have probably picked him, but I'm not surprised that he's there just because it's the kind of race that lends itself to a guy like Brad.
Gotcha.
Makes a lot of sense. And you know, I this is one of the races that I don't ever get to watch because, you know, they used to not race on Mother's Day. Back in my day, they didn't race on Mother's Day. And so
I mean, we've been racing for a while on Mother's Day.
Listen, I didn't start getting back into NASCAR until about 2020. So it was a long time between the death of Davey Allison and COVID. I was pretty much a casual at best fan of NASCAR. So, but yeah, it's not a race I ever get to watch. And so I've got a lot of other things going on. So I didn't get a chance to, but you know, Darlington is always fun because, and this is one of the reasons I do this, because a lot of people don't have a history of watching it, is the throwback car themes. And that's always the best part. So, you know, it's interesting, but I would
There were some great ones this weekend too.
There really were. I saw the Hot Wheels one. Gosh, I haven't seen the Hot Wheels car in so long, and that was a really good job. But yeah, I would rather talk about something that's in the future than the past.
Well, hang on.
So
before
if you've got something else, let's do that.
Before you spin into that, because we certainly do want to talk to Heather about some non-NASCAR stuff, but I think we should probably fulfill our NASCAR obligations.
Well, I've got future things in NASCAR to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Such as won the All-Star race, of course.
Okay, yeah.
Huge. But
let's do. Well, Ty Gibbs finished second, Josh Berry third, Denny Hamlin fourth,
hey,
and
Josh
Chase
Berry. How about you, Hendersonville?
That's
top
right.
5 finish.
Yeah,
he's running really well. He's running really well now.
Good. Denny Hamlin fourth, Chase Briscoe fifth, William Byron sixth, Bubba Wallace seventh. Is that Bubba's best finish?
How about them Toyotas?
I don't think it's his best finish. I think he has at least a couple of top fives, but it's his best finish in a while. He's had some bad luck recently, so it was good for him to kind of right the ship before we go into a part of the season where the tracks are really good for him. You know, Charlotte, Nashville. You know, those tracks in the summer are good tracks for him.
To Chris's point, Ford, Toyota, Ford, Chevy, Toyota. Top 7.
I mean, the Toyotas have been strong. They've been strong all year long. I mean, it's been the Toyotas and not even Chevys, just Toyota and Hendrick Motorsports.
That's what I say. Yeah, just Hendricks.
But yeah, I mean, they're clearly the manufacturer to beat, but they probably won't win the title because they just don't have enough cars. But they're definitely the top manufacturer of the sport right now.
Again, as we've noted on numerous occasions, we are a track house. We are Team Track House. Ross Chastain, 11th. And I'm not seeing now Suarez 24th. So
yeah, he had an issue. So I mean, thankfully for Suarez, he's got a win, so he's already in the playoffs. Because he's had some just atrocious luck recently. In fact, he even came out and apologized to his team and his fans for how poorly they've been running lately, which hasn't always been it hasn't really all been his fault, but it's definitely been frustrating.
The buck does kind of stop with the driver, though, doesn't it?
Seems to be. I mean, if you're going to make a change, it's either going to be the driver or the crew chief. I mean, those are the changes that generally get made, unless it's just something, you know, egregious with a tire changer consistently missing his marks or something. Generally, those are the two places you see changes.
There you go. All-Star
weekend. It's always fun. This is always an exciting time. And back at North Wilkesboro, do you think that year 2 in North Wilkesboro will be less exciting, or is it still a big deal?
Well, I think some of the shine has worn off. You know, it's not waking a track that's been dormant for 20 plus years. There's new pavement, so that'll be interesting because nobody really knows what to expect. As much excitement as there was last year about this race. The race itself was pretty boring. Kyle Larson absolutely stunk up the show and led pretty much every lap that he could possibly lead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so I think from that perspective, I think it'll be good. It'll be interesting to see, what happens with the new pavement, because people don't really know. And then they've added, a new kink with the tires. There's going to be 3 different tires that drivers are going to be able to use during the race. They're going to have, kind of your traditional tires. You're going to have your premium tires, and then you're going to have the rain tires. And they're going to have to run 2 of them throughout the race. So that also adds a little bit of a, twist to the All-Star race to make it interesting. It's something that they do in Indy and F1. They tried it once in NASCAR, didn't really work out. I think North Wilkesboro and talking to drivers is a better place to try an experiment like this. So we'll see.
And this is a unique situation because obviously the All-Star race is done differently with the heats and much like the Clash. So that's important to note as well.
Yeah, it's much different. You've got your qualifying, you've got your pit crew competition, then you've got your heat races, you've got the All-Star Open, and then the race. So there's a ton of racing going on this weekend at North Wilkesboro. And when you look
the
at that
open
open
is
field,
fun.
I mean, and if you look at that open field this year, it is stacked. I mean,
Yeah.
Bubba, Ty Gibbs, Alex Bowman, Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric. Those are all guys who've either won races or have the ability to. Noah Gragson, Josh Berry. I mean, it's quite the.
That may be the more fun race, the Open 100.
Well, they're certainly going to be more hungry, right? Because all those guys want to be in the All-Star race, and only 3 of them are going to be in there. The 2 winners of the stages plus the Open winner. I mean, plus the fan vote winner. So, yeah, it could be really fun.
I'm looking forward to it. And finally, before we get out of NASCAR, NASCAR announced, as I guess everyone is doing these days, it's the cool thing to do, an in-season tournament.
It does seem to be the end thing to do.
Yes.
So tell us about that and what that even means. Because our question is it head-to-head?
It is. So Denny Hamlin did a mock in-season tournament last year. This is really kind of born from his idea, and with his NBA ties, being both a fan and then, of course, MJ, it makes sense that this is kind of where it came from. Where you take the drivers in points and you seat them 1 through 32, and one faces 32, and so on and so forth. And the best finish in that race between those 2 drivers moves on until you get a champion. And what was really interesting is that William Byron won his, hypothetical in-season tournament last year. He was the points leader. So it ended up being the best driver that won that. But yeah, I mean, that's how it's going to work. And $1 million on the line for the winner.
A series of $1 million. A series of 2-car races. I mean, how is that compelling? Is that
Well, they're all going to still race at the same time. It'll just be the best finisher within the race.
Yeah.
So, like if
it's just in the race.
If it's William Byron versus I don't know, Justin Haley, let's say, and William Byron finishes 13th and Haley finishes 12th, Justin Haley moves on, and so that's how they'll do that.
Okay.
It also encourages you to get your car back on the track if necessary.
Right. Well, and I think a lot of the reasoning behind it is because of the switch to it's going to be going on in concert with TNT during their races that they have on the air. Okay. But also it opens up more betting possibilities, right? And I mean, that's really what a lot of sports is about now, is the sports betting world. So think of all the possibilities in the 32 driver in-season tournament for Vegas to make money on these sports bets. That's, in my opinion, that's what this is really about.
Cool. I think it's cool. I love the idea of head-to-head, best finisher moves on, because here's the thing. You think that upsets in March Madness are wild? You will definitely get some upsets in this thing.
And there were some upsets last year. Kyle Busch
what?
went out in the first round. There were some upsets last year. Kyle Busch went out in the first round.
Yeah, so it's this should be interesting. I'm really looking forward to this. Because who knows what might happen. I mean, if the top seed gets, it ends up in a crash in the first stage, next thing you know, they're done.
Yeah. Yeah, it really makes it interesting, but it doesn't affect like the full season thing. It's just a little fun,
Right.
kind of doldrums of summer. Because the other thing with NASCAR is it gets kind of drawn out, litigious during the summer when there's so many other things going on. So this is something else that kind of pique interest in the summertime.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Mo,
I
guess we can get out of NASCAR.
I believe we are done with our NASCAR obligations with Heather Williams of WCYB out of Johnson City. And now we need to prepare to pick our bones with Most State graduate Heather Williams.
What I do?
Well,
I just graduated from there.
Well, your school,
that's too bad.
Your school is encroaching on our territory now, as it was announced earlier this week. Well, I guess late last week, actually, it was announced that Missouri State, formerly Southwest Missouri State, will be joining Conference USA, where Jacksonville State and Middle Tennessee State also reside. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be that worried about anything other than women's basketball. Have you seen the history of my school recently?
Let me just tell you this. We're not worried about you in women's basketball either.
No, he's not. I got nothing.
I mean, let me ask you a question, Mo. How many Final Fours has your women's basketball team been to?
Wow.
Well,
because mine's been to 2.
She does have Jackie Stiles.
Yeah.
But we did go without Jackie Stiles. We've been to 2.
The first one was before Jackie Stiles, right?
It was my freshman year, 92. And then the second one was Jackie Stiles.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. You
but
do have me there.
16 we've been to the Sweet 16, I think, 4 or 5 times.
We should have gone to the Sweet 16 this year. Yeah. Okay. Enough of the trash talk, because she's kind of loaded.
But outside of that, we got nothing. I mean, our men's basketball team hasn't been to the tournament since Steve Alford was the head coach. Our football team made the NCAA FCS tournament with Bobby Petrino 2 and 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't done any
1 year.
Yes, we haven't done anything in the 30 years since I graduated. I haven't even sniffed a winning record.
Maybe this will be the
what kind
thing
of
that
breaks the log jam. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Heather, were you and we may have asked you this a few weeks ago. Were you surprised that Dana Ford wasn't any more successful than he was?
I was. I really thought it was a good hire when they made it, and it just never worked out. But I am a strong believer. I'm not a unrealistic fan in the fact that I believe that some of the issues in the school have nothing to do with who the coach was, and that's my honest belief. It's, as I mentioned, it's not just men's basketball that struggled over the last 20 years. It's pretty much been every sport but women's basketball that struggled. So, I don't know. He wasn't successful, and I hate that. I'm happy that Konzo's back. I never thought he should have left for where he went, but we'll leave that out because I reside in that state. But had the same feeling about Kelly Harper when she left, same place. But, we'll see how it goes second time around. He hasn't done this level of coaching in a while, and he hasn't coached at all in a few years. So it'll be interesting.
Heather Williams, WCYB of Johnson City, joining us here on Main Street Sports today, talking a little NASCAR. Heather, we will have spring fling obligations next week, and so we will not be able to visit with you. Will you be coming to Murfreesboro at any point?
You can call Chip Walters if you want to talk, though.
I'm sure Chip would love to have you. Yeah,
so
on Spring Fling HQ.
If I'm not obligated, we will come up if we have anyone in the championship. but I don't know how that's going to work out since our best bet to get there, or so we thought, at one point number 1 ranked Tennessee High boys baseball team did not make it out of the district tournament. So,
Wow.
yeah,
That's
Ooh, you hate when that happens.
that's not what you like to see. No.
yeah.
Well,
So
I will tell you this though. This also happened to former Coach's Corner guest Parker Holman and Rossview.
well,
So
Yeah,
here's-
I mean, it's surprising, and they were I mean, I would expect Greenville would probably come out of that sectional. Is that what you call it? Substate
Mhm.
now.
Section.
I mean, I always want to call it substate, but because I'm old
You're
school.
showing your age. Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
you don't have faith
but-
in Science Hill to upset Farragut?
No,
Oh,
love
okay.
Science Hill. I mean, they've won championships, a couple of them.
Sure,
since I've been here,
they're-
but I'm not.
Long time baseball.
But
Yeah, but I'm not sure this is. I'm not sure this is the year.
Nah, I don't think so.
if you have to play Farragut, this probably isn't the year. Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, like I said, I expected Tennessee High. I already had them penciled in the championship. They were number 1 in the state, and that didn't really work out. So
It's tough.
All right. Well, we will pencil you in for 2 weeks from today.
sounds good, guys.
Appreciate it. We'll talk to you.
Go Bears.
Listen to her. When we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, we will return to the Lee Company studios here on West 7th and talk a little baseball. Stay tuned after the break.
The wild horses are coming to Franklin. The Mustang Heritage Spectacular. 4 days of celebrity freestyle, liberty training, trick riding, and extreme Mustang makeover. Plus the shopping. Over 100 vendor spaces with clothing, food, home goods, and things you can't find anywhere else. All that and celebrity signings at a music stage too. June 20th through 23rd at Williamson County Ag Expo Park. Don't miss a moment with a weekend pass. MustangHeritageFoundation.org for tickets.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to Nashville Super Speedway.
That's right, guitars and fast cars right here in Music City. This summer, NASCAR is back at the Nashville Super Speedway. Get your tickets now to watch your favorite driver take on the 1.33 miles of concrete chaos. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to lock in your spot June 28th through the 30th for the Ally 400 race weekend.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handlers supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
May 15th, 1948, Jim Russell's two-out first inning solo home run was the only run of the game as the Boston Braves downed host Brooklyn 1-0. Warren Spahn's four-hit shutout effort on the mound was the Braves' third in as many games following a 2-0 road victory over the Cubs on May 13th and a 6-0 win at St. Louis 3 days earlier. That was this day in Braves history. Chris, after a 2-0 victory at Truist Park over the Cubs on Monday night and a 7-0 victory over the Cubs last night, the Braves are going for their third shutout in a row.
If history repeats itself,
we'll take it.
We'll take it. Because you can't lose if they don't score.
It's damn near impossible.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So
I like my chances if they don't score.
If they don't score, I feel pretty good about it.
Even as inconsistent as this offense has been, if they don't score, I like our chances.
There you go.
Yeah.
And this pitching staff has been phenomenal over the last couple of weeks even. I mean,
what have they won? 5 of the last 6, 6 of the last 7, something like that?
That's a question I cannot answer off the top of my
I think
head.
they're only, you know, they lost the Sunday night game to the Mets. They had taken the first 2 in that series.
Yeah, that certainly would.
They swept Boston. So yeah, 2, 4, 6. They won 6 of their last 7 now since that West Coast debacle.
Right. Well, you know, we've had Canadian debacles. We've had West Coast.
We were
debacles.
supposed to not speak of Canada again.
I'm just saying, it turned out okay. I mean,
yeah.
So
relatively speaking, it did turn out okay.
It kind of,
it was just that lost weekend in Canada, and now the lost weekend in LA. Right?
If it happened in Canada, does anybody even know about it? No.
What happens in Canada stays in Canada.
Sure. So tonight's game will be a big one because you get an off day, but you don't have to go anywhere. Typically, off days mean
traveling.
No, you get to stay at home, so that's always exciting.
Best of both worlds, huh?
No doubt. It is weird though that we play the Cubs this week and next week, right? That's weird.
There's a lot of weird in the baseball schedule these days.
Yeah.
I mean, you got an off day before and after a 2-game series with Boston last week. So, but yeah,
a lot of off days this month.
Off day tomorrow, and then the Padres come to town for 4. The Ryan weatherless Padres, and the Padres may regret that.
Yeah.
By the way,
Ryan Weathers had an interesting game last night. Mo,
interesting, and had to be a little bit frustrating to be real. Weathers goes 8 scoreless, walkless, gave up 3 singles. 8 innings was a career best for him at the major league level. Again, 3 singles, no walks, 4 strikeouts, no decision, as the Marlins can't score until the 10th.
That was his first time ever completing 8 innings. David Weathers first completed 8 innings for the Florida Marlins on September 6, 1993, when he also gave up 3 hits and no runs. That is an only in baseball type of
That's right there with 3 straight shutouts for the Braves.
It really is.
Yeah, it's awesome to share that moment with him. He's the reason I'm here today. He showed me how to pitch. I'm sure I'm going to call him tonight and talk about the whole game. Did not give up a base runner until a leadoff infield single in the 6th before getting Javier Baez to ground into a double play. So yeah, 2 hours and 9 minutes time of game in 10 innings.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, if the Marlins had scored, you would have felt like Greg Maddux was pitching last night for them. I mean, just the way he worked, and Ryan continues to be really impressive this year. You know, after he struggled for about 18 months calendar time, going back to his time in San Diego, as you mentioned. But when he came back this year, whatever he did in the offseason, he made the adjustments. I'm sure working down at the facilities in Loretto probably helped with Dad David.
Did not hurt. Not hurt.
And you got to think about, when your dad is David Withers, who played for so many different organizations and was
for such a long period of time, 19 seasons.
You have to lean on him for that mental toughness and say, you got
to lean on him for a lot because he knows a lot.
Well, and you can get down on yourself. In this world of instant gratification, teams can get down on you. So you've got to figure out how to, get back a little quicker. I don't know that, every team would stick by a pitcher who had the struggles that he had, but they need pitching. And luckily, the Marlins are reaping the benefits of sticking by Ryan Weathers right now.
Absolutely. Working that ERA down. It's now at 3.81.
That's a good ERA for a starting pitcher.
It really is. He's 2-4, but I think he's gone without a decision in his last 3 starts. And all 3 of those have been, by major league definition, quality starts. A quality start is 6 innings or more and 3 earned runs or less. And that's what he's done in each of his 3 outings. And he's gotten nothing to show for it in each of those 3 occasions. So
what'd you say the ERA is?
It is now 3.81.
That's really good. You know what is better, though? 0.82, which is what Robert Gasser's ERA is in 11 innings pitched.
Did he go again last night?
2 starts. Yes, he has given up 1 earned run and struck out 6 in 2 starts for the Brew Crew.
Well, I guess that kind of answers the question that we had when we were talking to Jeff Hem as he was going up for his first start. Is this just a 1-start thing, or does he have a chance to make a second one? Well, he made a second one, and sounds like he'll make a third one.
I mean, you can't send him back now. I mean,
you wouldn't think.
I mean, how? How do you justify that in any way, shape, or form?
Well, now, to that, I don't know that they've ever really needed justification.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand your point, but you have to understand if they decide we want to throw somebody else, they're going to throw somebody else, and they're not real worried about justifying it. But yeah, from his 2 starts, he has pitched well enough to justify another one. So we'll see how that goes. Again, Braves Cubs conclude that series tonight. 6:20 is first pitch. Javier Assad 3-0 with a 1.70 ERA going for the Cubs. Charlie Morton, 80-year-old Charlie Morton, 3-0 with a 3.14 ERA going to the bump for the Braves. And again, it's the 4-man booth on Valley Sports South with Jeff Francoeur, Tom Glavine, Chipper Jones, and Brian McCann, and all of the entertainment will not be on the field tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. Before we get out of here on this baseball subject, last night, Ron Washington called for a a squeeze play while Luis Guillorme was in the box. Guillorme did not get the bunt down. Ball may or may not have been outside. It was in the other batter's box, but it may or may not have been outside. I mean, look at this picture. The placement of the ball. I don't really know what you want Guillorme to do there. I mean, the ball is all the way in the other batter's box. I mean, I don't know. But Ron Washington
wanted him to do something, huh?
He wanted him to get it down. He said in the postgame presser, he didn't do the job. It wasn't anything I did wrong. He didn't do the job. He also said, Ron Washington said, he was throwing the ball in the strike zone. And I mean, I love Wash, but JoJo Romero had walked the previous two batters and was all over the place. Anyway, so they lose 7-6 to the Cardinals because that's what the Angels do is lose by 1 run.
So this was a suicide squeeze. And
Yeah.
The guy was coming.
Yeah.
And he was a dead
It
duck.
was bases are loaded, bottom of the 8th, 1 out. And
bases are loaded, 1 out.
Yeah. Suicide squeeze. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I love Wash, but I'm not sure I'm squeezing there.
All I'm saying is, I mean, at this point, there's only one thing the Angels should do, and that's fire Ron Washington. Fire Ron Washington.
Fire Ron Washington now.
You got to fire him.
Because it's easier to fire 1 than 26. Yes, fire Ron Washington now because I got a spot for him.
Because the Braves will pack his locker, pay for his flight. Come on home, baby.
Come on. What is that? Where's that Austin Powers mean?
Yeah, and bring EY with you because apparently we need it because our first base coaching is not great right now.
Ronald Acuna needs him badly. Yeah.
Anyway,
Houston 2, Oakland 1 in 10. Another Breggy bomb last night. Ronel Blanco apparently ejected for sticky stuff.
No, watch out.
Yeah, I'm sure Wade will have plenty to say about that when we get him back. But yeah, as Thomas Harding told us, chill out on Houston, they'll be fine.
Calm down.
Sure enough. Remain calm.
Things are fine.
All is well. Here we go. Let's take a break as we have wrapped up hour number 1 of Wild and Wacky Wednesday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia. When we return to the Lee Company studios after this break, we'll be getting into the grab bag, and it looks like there's some interesting stuff in there, so stay tuned.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Today here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Hour number 2 starts now. I'm Maurice Patton. This is Chris Yao, and welcome to the Grab Bag as we touch on a number of topics across the local, regional, and national sports landscape. And we will start, I guess, in Clarksville, because the Nashville Cats had a media availability up there yesterday ahead of their Saturday Arena Football League game against the Wichita Regulators. Q Warren G.
They're calling themselves the Wichita Regulators, I guess, but at some point they were the ICT Regulators, which I assume is like some region, like Quad City or something. I don't know, or Rio Grande Valley.
Not Quad City, not the Quad City DJs.
Yeah, you know,
you're going to mention Quad City and Warren G.
all in one segment.
There we go.
Just let's go. It's just this is the mid-90s rap segment.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was an interesting press conference, because obviously that was not the intention of the press conference. The press conference got derailed by this because they were clearly there to promote Saturday's game and all of the great things that will be happening at F&M Bank Arena. And it's exciting for the Cats. They will be taking on the Wichita Regulators, one of the 10 teams in the Arena Football League. By the way, they were not in the Arena Football League when the season started.
Is it 10 teams or 12 teams?
10. I'm pretty sure it's 10. I mean, based on the press release that they sent out.
Okay, random. What does ICT mean in Wichita, Kansas? Wichita Mid-Continent Airport. It's the designation for Wichita, sort of like BNA, which makes no sense either. But yeah, the Wichita Airport's designation is ICT. So
there you go. So we're the BNA Cats, I guess. G6 Sports Investment Group owns the AFL and its intellectual property. So, I sent you that message on Monday night when this was kind of getting thrown around as an idea.
Mm-hmm.
G6 actually owns the copyrights to the AFL. And allegedly, according to G6, Lee Hutton, the former commissioner of the league.
Now, he is the former commissioner.
He doesn't think so.
But G6 thinks so.
But G6 owns the league. And so they have told Jeff Fisher he is the interim commissioner of this league. So
the decision was made by a unanimous vote of the current team ownership groups in alignment with G6 Sports Investment Group, LLC, the owners of the AFL and its intellectual property.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, this says moving forward, the AFL will retain a 10-team league consisting of Albany, Billings, Nashville, Orlando, Rapid City, Salina, Southwest Kansas, Washington, West Texas, and the ICT regulators. That's 10.
And all of these teams have private ownership. So all the teams that folded did not. So Oregon, Minnesota, Georgia, Philadelphia, and Louisiana, none of them had private ownership. They were all league-owned teams. And those were the teams that players were not getting paid. And so that's where
that's a problem.
Well, and that's the issue here is you've ruined the brand of this league. And so Lee Hutton,
as water polo fan number one, Flavor Flav would say, they got to pay me, boy.
I mean, anything. I mean, these people were out there, you know, with apartments and stuff. Now, Lee Hutton,
I can't feed my family,
put out a statement of 2 sentences and didn't say I'm back. I'm gone is what it should say. The promise of arena football still exists, but can only be sustainable for the fans when everyone is included to make the sport better. My efforts to do so are not stalled because a few conspire to interrupt progress.
Oh, goodness.
This guy.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. So, anyway, that guy can kick rocks. Jeff Fisher's the new interim commissioner. I don't think that Jeff Fisher has any idea how to be the commissioner of the Arena Football League. What this is a recognizable name to stop the bleeding and give some legitimacy to the situation.
Okay, but what was your first statement on that?
I don't know if Jeff Fisher knows how to be the commissioner of the Arena Football League.
That said, how much legitimacy does he bring?
I mean, it's one, the Nashville Cats organization, for the most part, is one of the organizations that everybody in this league looks to as far as their stability, right? They've got a great ownership group. They've got a good managing partner. Jeff was doing football operations. And I think he'll probably be over the football operations side of the Arena Football League. But there is another side, a business side, that is going to need some help. I don't think he has necessarily. But everyone knows who Jeff Fisher is.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows that Jeff Fisher is going to bring – he's not going to put his name on something that is not a product that he would sell. And Nashville has done everything right to this point as far as getting the teams on the field, getting their players paid, getting the, all of the things that they have done. They're going to finish this season out. So, yes, it does bring legitimacy to this 10-team league that will continue and play the rest of the season.
I am reading from the article on various Main Street platforms, including Main Street Clarksville. Again, Jeff Fisher was available at that media availability yesterday at F&M Bank Arena in Clarksville. And he said, I've never been a commissioner, but I have experience and relationships. What I want to bring to this league is integrity. I want to provide an opportunity for parents in the cities with smaller franchises to watch an indoor football game. An event these kids look forward to all week, all across this country. I want to preserve that here in Nashville and all these other communities. We have great coaches and players who are passionate about this game. I'm honored to be able to help with the future of this league and excited about the additional responsibility. When we brought Terry McCormick on yesterday to discuss this situation, he made an interesting point. When you look at the cities that make up the Arena Football League as it is currently constructed, Albany, New York, Billings, Montana, Nashville, Tennessee, Orlando, Florida, Rapid City, South Dakota, Salina, Kansas, Southwest Kansas, I'm not sure what city that is, Washington, Everett, West Texas, is that El Paso?
I think so. Southwest is in Dodge City.
And Wichita. And as Terry brought up, Nashville has 2 major league franchises. I'm sorry. Odessa, Texas. Oh, so they're competing with Permian then, right?
Yeah, basically.
Nashville has 2 major league franchises. Orlando has NBA. I mean, these franchises aren't all fighting the same fight. I don't think.
No.
It's just an interesting collection of locations to me. And I don't know how you align what it is that you're looking for all of them.
I think in Nashville and Orlando's case, I think you're looking for an affordable option for professional football. Because one, Orlando doesn't have a professional football team. But if you want to go to a Titans game in Nashville, it ain't easy. Not to take 4 kids. If you got 2 or 3 kids, your wife or your mom or whatever, it's not easy to do. It's not. But tickets in Nashville are inexpensive. For the Arena Football League, it's an opportunity to do something indoors during the summer when most professional sports are outdoors. And so get out of the elements and that sort of thing. So it just, it gives them that ability. Now, obviously, Odessa and Salina, Kansas, and Billings, Montana, they don't have those same issues. They're the only game in town.
Yeah. Interesting.
It is indeed.
We continue reaching into the grab bag. When we talk about halls of fame and that kind of thing, invariably we say they're not already in. Well, the Brooklyn Nets are retiring number 15. You've got the details on it, but it kind of feels like this is something that should have already taken place.
Well, heck, he just retired.
Yeah, but he wasn't coming back. He wasn't coming back to Brooklyn.
They don't know. Heck, he played for everybody else. He might as well one more time. Vince Carter's 15 will hang from the rafters in Brooklyn. And how many players have ever had their numbers retired while they're still playing? Anybody? Because that would be one.
I don't know that anybody has, but if anybody would have been deserving, I dare say it was Vince Carter.
In Brooklyn, at least,
Yeah. Yeah, not necessarily while he was still playing for Brooklyn, but again, it ain't like he was coming back. What are you waiting on?
Well, as he goes to the Hall of Fame this year, and just seems like a really good time to go ahead and put 15 in the rafters.
Alongside Jason Kidd's number 5, apparently.
If you want your number retired in Brooklyn, make sure there's a 5 in it.
It's funny you say that, because Buck Williams' number is also retired, and I think he wore 55, maybe.
Oh, there you go. See?
I think Vince Carter will become the 7th Nets player to 52. Have it 50. Okay.
Still had
My bad.
Still had a 5 in it.
Yeah. The 7th Nets player joining Kidd, Buck Williams, Drazen Petrovic, Bill Melchiani, I think that's from the old ABA, Super John Williamson, and Julius Erving. Julius wore 6.
Yeah.
But
Petrovic
there's an exception to be made.
Yeah.
Petrovic Dr. J would be it. Petrovic wore 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Williamson and Melchiani?
I couldn't get them.
That weren't readily available.
I couldn't get them Googled fast enough.
Well, Melchiani is a tough one to spell.
That's what I was just going to say. I have no idea how to even spell it. So
yeah. I'm not even sure I said it right. Tupac on the air this fall?
Yeah, they will be live on the CW.
That's not Tupac. That's the Pac-2.
The Pac-2
of Oregon State and Washington State. So they have a TV package.
And it's available in every home in America, just about. I mean, it's an over-the-air channel. And if you get, Will that be Pac-2 After Dark? I guess so. Pac-2 After Dark, and you never know. So this is exciting news for Oregon State and Washington State. They needed
and for their opponents.
They needed something. Now, that being said, the Pac-12 network will be producing these games, and luckily they only have 2 crews needed to produce them. But it hasn't been the greatest production, if you ask folks on the West Coast.
Well,
the Pac-12 network has been rough.
Well, maybe if they're only focusing on 2 broadcasts,
right? It's just they only got 2, so the top 2 number 1 and number 2 should be good.
Yeah,
hopefully. So anyway, should be good. I think. Look, they needed something.
Absolutely.
And to get an over-the-air channel, I think that's fantastic.
Let's take a break from the Lee Company Studios here on Main Street Sports Today, because in the green room right now is Willie G. Ramirez of the Associated Press, coming to us to talk a little WNBA opening night. So we will do that when we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Stay tuned.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to Nashville Super Speedway.
That's right, guitars and fast cars right here in Music City. This summer, NASCAR is back at the Nashville Super Speedway. Get your tickets now to watch your favorite driver take on the 1.33 miles of concrete chaos. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to lock in your spot June 28th through the 30th for the Ally 400 race weekend.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Wild horses are coming to Franklin. The Mustang Heritage Spectacular. 4 days of celebrity freestyle, liberty training, trick riding, and extreme Mustang makeover. Plus the shopping. Over 100 vendor spaces with clothing, food, home goods, and things you can't find anywhere else. All that and celebrity signings at a music stage too. June 20th through 23rd at Williamson County Ag Expo Park. Don't miss a moment with a weekend pass. MustangHeritageFoundation.org for tickets.
Wild and Wacky Wednesday continues here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton. This is Chris Yao. It's time to talk a little bit about the Women's National Basketball Association. And to help us do that, we are pleased to bring in Willie G. Ramirez, who covers the two-time defending WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA. And Willie, I say that because over the last few weeks of this offseason, I feel like folks needed reminding of that in light of the way the conversation around the WNBA has gone. That said, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's been an interesting preseason and build up since training camp. This is the first year that I've gone beyond the Aces and gone into just about every team's media day Zoom sessions, stayed current with their post-practice Zooms, and sort of expanded my coverage. And the takes that I'm getting from the players and the coaches around the league is somewhat intriguing, just off of the, obviously the overwhelming headlines of Caitlin Clark and this rookie class. It's been, like I said, it's very enlightening just to hear what the different camps are talking about, where their mindset is, what they're sort of looking forward to. It's the Aces don't seem to be phased. If anything, they just seem to be ready to win another one. Asia Wilson talked last night after the game that Tom Brady, the biggest moment last night outside of getting the season going, was Tom Brady coming into the locker room before the game and telling the girls, forget about the banner that's being raised. Don't even worry about it. Don't even think about defending the two banners that are up there. Just go out there and just keep doing what you're doing. Don't focus on the ring. Don't focus on the banner. Don't be Don't be distracted by what takes place before the game. And once it happens, just kind of let it fall by the wayside and forget about it, because you don't need to defend it. You don't need to worry about it, because it's yours. It's there. It's already taken place. Right? It's never going away. If you don't win this year, then come back next year and do what you do. But that banner's always going to be up there, and those rings will always be in your trophy case. And she said it was a real poignant moment for them.
Is this the best thing that could have happened to the Las Vegas Aces, by the way? Is everybody not being focused on them?
Well, I don't know if they're not. It's just that I think it's the world is focused on Caitlin Clark and the WNBA as a whole, right? So the WNBA fans that were in place are focused on, I think, Caitlin Clark. The fans of each city are focused on their team. The new fans are focused, I think, on who they're going to sort of align themselves with. College basketball fans that didn't necessarily follow WNBA, because as we all know, there are college basketball fans, men and women, that don't even follow the NBA or WNBA, that now are going to follow the WNBA. But I definitely think that the other 11 teams, they definitely are focused on the Las Vegas Aces. They have a target on their back. They've decided, they put out a YouTube show, documentary just before the season, and I can't remember what it's called. Something, everyone against us, or all against us, something effective, where everyone's against them. And they're sort of taking the same mantra this year, as if everything's up against them. Now, I don't necessarily know how much I believe that, but if that's the mantra that they want to ride into the season, and they want to play the villain role, and that's what gets them going, then so be it. You know what I mean? I mean, we all have a chip on our shoulder in some way, shape, or form. Every one of us, in some walk of our life, we use it to motivate us in that, hey, if this is how it's going to be, fine. And then you use it to motivate them. And if that's what the Aces are going to use, that they're hated, that they're now
because
the villain,
that's what they needed, was motivation. Well,
yeah, as if they needed any more than they already have, right, to win a third straight championship. So, but yeah, hey, I tell you who was motivated last night. It was Natasha Cloud, Kalia Cooper in their debuts with the Phoenix Mercury, because it was a 3-point
Yeah, they were.
game down the stretch after the Aces led by 18 early.
Yeah, the Aces get up early in the first quarter, and then Phoenix said, "Hey, wait a minute, we're still in this thing," and put up 27 in the second quarter, and next thing you know, it's a ball game.
It's a ball game, yeah, exactly.
Right. That was a great ball game too. You know, and based off last year, obviously, not many people expected the Mercury to be competitive.
And
well, let me just interject.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody. I don't know if it's a matter that nobody thought for them to be competitive. It was a matter if the additions of Cloud and Copper would bring them back to elite status. I'm going to tell you right now, Brittany Griner's in last night's game. They come back and win it. In the story, because Asia Wilson, she opened up with a bang with 17 points. I don't know if she has 17 points in the first quarter if Brittany Griner's in the game. And when Asia decided to put her foot down in the fourth quarter, does that happen if Brittany Griner's in there? The rest of it is rudimentary. It's what it is, right? That's exactly how it would have played out. All the other components of that game would have been in place. It's a matter of what would have taken place if Brittany Griner would have been in the game. True, Becky Hammond may not have went small at a certain point in time, but the fact of the matter is, if BG's in that game, there's a good chance that the Aces lose their season opener.
Right. Where they put up the banner and put up the rings and that kind of thing. And you know, whether Tom Brady told them to forget about him or not, you didn't want to lose on that night for sure. So Willie Ramirez of the Associated Press joining us here on Main Street Sports today, talking a little WNBA. In addition to the Aces 89-80 win over Phoenix, the New York Liberty defeated the Washington Mystics 85-80. It was the Minnesota Lynx 83, the Seattle Storm 70, and the Connecticut Sun at home down the Indiana Fever 92-71. The biggest point spread of the night, despite 20 points from Caitlin Clark, because she also turned it over 10 times. I don't know how much, if any, of that game you got to see, Willie, because obviously you were busy, but relative to what you expected out of that matchup, how would you feel like it went?
100% what I expected. 100% down to exactly what Caitlin Clark got out of it. You're talking about one of the two teams of all the previews or all the guest spots that I've done the last 2 weeks. They've asked who is going to contend with the Las Vegas Aces, and I've said the New York Liberty and the Connecticut Sun off the top of my head. There's your top tier of three, then there's your next three, then your next three, and then the bottom three. The Connecticut Sun needed a year to adjust without Jonquel Jones, Courtney Williams. Then, of course, Brianna Jones was out with an Achilles injury, right? So now Brianna Jones is healthy. Alyssa Thomas was the runner-up for MVP. DeWanna Bonner is no joke. Dejanay Carrington is well seasoned. This is no slouch of a team. And they got better than last year because of Breezy's return, Brianna Jones. Caitlin Clark got exactly the taste of the WNBA that Diana Taurasi said she would, that everybody hated on DT, which, by the way, I love Diana Taurasi. She is so easy to deal with. People make it out to be as if she's the villain of the league, and she might be one of the easiest cats to deal with. And anyway, we spoke again.
I'm still gonna hate her,
huh?
And it has nothing to do with anything other than she's a Husky.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna hate her.
Yeah, we have a tough time in Tennessee rooting for Diana Taurasi.
Well, that's totally different. That's 100% different. Hey, I'm a Clark Charger here in Las Vegas, and I hate the Gorman Gales, but you know what? I love Brevin Jordan. That's my dog, who's a tight end for the Houston Texans, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Cleveland Brown, right? But I get it. But DT is still a fantastic person to deal with. She did not speak any lies, and we saw it last night. The Connecticut Sun are the most physical team in the league, hands down. And they gave her no space to work with. They rattled her. She committed 10 turnovers, I believe it was, right? She got 20 points. Her prop total was 20.5, so the under cashed in. 100% believe Connecticut was going to cover that number.
Vegas is so good.
Doesn't take anything away from Indiana, and it doesn't take anything away from Caitlin Clark. It's a matter of, hey, welcome to the league.
Well,
and you're going up against a team that's going to contend for the Eastern Conference title, and down the stretch could pose a problem to the Las Vegas Aces. So it didn't surprise me one bit.
It's a top 3 team versus a bottom 3 team.
All right.
I mean, that's what should have happened.
And Dajon Carrington,
I would say top 3 versus bottom 6. Let me say that because the Fever are improved.
Mm-hmm,
they are an improved team.
Well, they're going to need more. They're going to need more than 4 points from Aaliyah Boston to be competitive in the WNBA.
100%. And now Christy Sides, the coach, will see, okay, this isn't just about Caitlin Clark. Let's not forget who the Rookie of the Year last year was.
Right.
And don't forget this. Indiana Fever's missing its leading scorer. Kelsey Mitchell's starting the season on the bench. She's injured.
That's right.
Kelsey Mitchell's the star of that team.
That's correct.
Did you see that? Did you guys see that graphic that came out with the mountain and Asia standing at the top, and Kelsey Plum, I think, is on one side, and I think Jack Young's on the other, and then it's the back of 11 other players that are looking up at the mountain. It's like, and the person that they used in that graphic was Kelsey Mitchell. And I actually quoted that tweet. I think it was SportsCenter that actually put it out. But I quoted and I said, "Glad to see that Kelsey Mitchell is the one and not a rookie. I won't even put her name in it. Glad to see it's not a rookie that hasn't paid her dues yet. Kelsey Mitchell is the star of that team."
2 things from what you just said. One, and I tweeted this a couple of weeks ago to Yao. I'm having a real tough time with Indiana Fever coach Christy Sides, because I remember when she played at Arkansas. That's which I'm just showing my age. But 2, Dajon Carrington looked like she took personally her defensive assignment last night.
Yes. Yeah. Dejanay Carrington, let me tell you a little story. So she came out of college very shy, right? A bit subdued. Remember Kurt Miller talking about it when he was a coach at Connecticut. She played in a professional women's league here in the States called Athletes Unlimited. It debuted in Las Vegas 3 years ago. The league made up of 44 women, 11 per team, 4 teams, and at the end of each week, the captains were the 4 atop the leaderboard of a fantasy-like scoreboard, leaderboard, if you will, based on plus, minus, assists, steals, turnovers, you name it, and whoever ended up at the end of the week, the top 4 players, they were captains and they chose new teams. Dejanay and Natasha Cloud, Dejanay was a captain, I think, every single week. She came out of her shell in that inaugural season, came back with a wealth of confidence, returned to Connecticut, was a vital part of the team that went to the WNBA Finals and lost to the Las Vegas Aces. Then the Connecticut Sun lose Courtney Williams. They lose Jonquel Jones, right? She becomes an even bigger part of that team last year. So Dejanay Carrington has slowly become one of the best players in the league, and one of the best players in the Eastern Conference, one of the best defenders in the entire WNBA. She is no joke. But you ask her about that second year, or that between that first and second year, and where the confidence was built, and it was Athletes Unlimited. She has been fantastic ever since and worked on nothing but building off of that every offseason.
Willie G. Ramirez of the Associated Press joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia. Willie, you talk about that top tier of the WNBA being the Aces, the Sun, and the Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the best chance of, kind of cracking that code of the remaining 9 teams, would you say?
Well, Glad you asked that, Mo, because I have started a new venture. So I'm going to shamelessly plug my website.
Please do.
We've heard for a couple of years now as the viewership has expanded and when you ask the women what they feel about the WNBA finals, of course, because I've been there for 2 straight years. Hey, the numbers are up. Say it's great, but we need more. We need more storytellers. Okay, well, I've done my darndest, if you will, to get where I can on different sites. To hey, do you need any writers? You need some freelance. You need this. You need that. And I venture. I have my own way of sort of nudging my way into certain publications, and I've established some relationships, but nothing on a consistent basis. So you know what? I said this year I am going to set aside a weekly budget on WGRamirez.com. And every Monday, I'm going to have my own power rankings, my own thoughts. Every Tuesday, I'm going to do a league-wide notes package. By the end of the week, I'm going to have a WNBA feature. And for the Sunday read out of my hometown, obviously, I'm going to have an Aces feature. So this past Monday, I released my first power rankings, which you can find at WGRamirez.com. But let's not forget about who finished in the top 4 last year, and that is the Dallas Wings, right? They have a talented squad as well. So Dallas has a good nucleus back, and Dallas can be a very dangerous team. The Atlanta Dream are going to be a team to watch. You bring back the all-stars that they have, right? Led by Alicia Gray, who, by the way, was this past season's overall champion at Athletes Unlimited. But you add in there Tina Charles, Jordan Canada, Aerial Powers. You have a veteran coach like Tanisha Wright with a general manager like Dan Padilla. This is a team that could surprise some people. They open the season tonight in Los Angeles, which is another team that I think they had them power rank. I did a bunch of polls, or I did one poll off a bunch of sites for my first power rankings. I wanted to see where my head was against some of these other ones. A lot of them had the LA Sparks 10, 11, or 12. And I get it, but Kurt Miller's got a squad, and Cam Brink is a champion. That girl is no joke. I watched their preseason games, and she is coming out with a vengeance. Caitlin Clark this, Angel Reese that, both great players, but it seems like people are sleeping on Cam Brink. Anyway, I'm really intrigued to watch tonight's game between Atlanta and Los Angeles, because I think Atlanta, if they can figure out what took place last year from toward the end of the third into the fourth quarter, where they collapsed a lot. You go back and look at the box scores of their games last year and tell me how many times they went into games they lost. They went into the fourth quarter in games they lost leading. I bet you that they end up being a top 5 team record-wise. So if they learn how to close, and now you have veterans like Jordan Canada, Tina Charles, Aerial Powers in that lineup, and Tanisha Wright has the right rotation, that's going to be a dangerous team to watch. Dallas out of the West, Atlanta out of the East.
Willie, I got to express to you just how disappointed I am that you talked about the Atlanta Dream and you did not mention, again, because we're here in Tennessee, former Kentucky standout Ryan Howard. But as I'm looking,
no. Ryan falls in. I'm sorry, but Ryan falls when I said they bring back a core of all-stars led by Alicia Gray. Ryan's in there. So is Cheyenne Parker. She's in that. So yes, Ryan, and I wrote about Ryan last year at All-Star Weekend. I actually wrote for the Atlanta Dream. I wrote a couple of pieces during All-Star Weekend. So no. It's not that I didn't. I'm trying to spit out the names, and I said led by the trio of All-Stars. But yeah, no. Are you kidding me? She's fantastic. She was their first All-Star a couple of years ago. So
we got the chance to see her in high school at Bradley Central over in Cleveland, and fell in love with her game from that moment. And again, a couple of other folks with Tennessee ties. You mentioned Cheyenne Parker ties, played at MTSU. Crystal Dangerfield, a former Blackman standout over in Murfreesboro, just across 840 from here. So yeah, a lot of local flavor on that Atlanta team. And if they can crack the code, that would be great to see.
I'm going to give you a name then, since I seem to be slighting your Tennessee Vols. I want to see what happens when Camila Cardoso comes back and how she blends well with Angel Reese. Why? Because they have a champion in Diamond to Shields. And you know who else they have? Isabel Harrison, who did not get a chance to play last year. She nursed through an injury. And you know where she rehabbed and got her legs back under her? Athletes Unlimited this past season. So I love watching Isabel Harrison play. I think she's still a special ball player. And she's got those Tennessee ties. So there you go, guys.
Absolutely.
I brought in a little volunteer talk for you. But yeah, no, the sky is. It was really tough to see or to I was sitting there battling with the bottom six for my first power rankings, and that's when it said. I said, let me just Google and see how many power rankings I can find, and then sort of just give them points, right? So Aces were number one across everybody's power, so they got a 12 from every single one. 2 got 11. 3, if they were in third, they got 10 points all the way down. Chicago Sky when I did the point system, they were the worst team of all the polls. And I was a little surprised by that. But then you look at the other teams, and I'm like, well, okay, that makes sense. I would have thought, off the top of my head, maybe the Mystics, because Natasha Cloud's gone, Elena Deladon's sitting the season out. I'm not sure, what Eric Thibault has yet with the chemistry of that team. And that's all due respect to, Ariel and Shakira. I just not sure about that lineup just yet. But the Sky was one of the least respected teams in terms of the rankings that I polled. And when Camila Cardoso comes back, if they can get it together, let's not forget who's coaching that team. Teresa Witherspoon. No joke. So T-Spoon, she's going to sort of have like that Dawn Staley mentality, right? She comes from that era. So it's going to be a fantastic season to tune into. There's no doubt about it. And it has – how do I want to say this? It's going to be an exciting season to watch from start to finish, every team. It has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark, even though it has everything to do with Caitlin Clark. Meaning I can give you storylines in just about every city why it's a fantastic time to watch WNBA.
I think you're absolutely right. Willie G. Ramirez joining us from Vegas, talking a little WNBA. And Willie, we certainly appreciate your insight and look forward to visiting with you again soon and as this season progresses, because again, it's going to be fun to keep an eye on. And be sure, if you are a WNBA fan, or if you're not, you should be, but be sure and check out WGRamirez.com. And it's no shameful plug, man. We are glad to help get that out any way we can as well. So
all right, guys,
thank you for joining us. Absolutely. And, we'll catch up with you.
Yeah, let me know. I'll be you know how to reach me, and looking forward to the season and joining you guys next time you're ready.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Hey, let's go ahead and go to Wild and Wacky Wednesday, where I will yield the floor to Mr. Yao as he brings you the weirdest, wildest, and wackiest news from around the globe, and most likely Florida.
I don't know. I don't think so.
What?
We'll start in sports though, since we can segue in. Since we don't have a break, we'll just segue from sports to sports.
Transition, to
good,
wild and wacky. Yeah,
good transition here as the WBA bantamweight women's boxing match. I know this just seems crazy. Nina Hughes and Chernica Johnson were fighting for the bantamweight title, and Nina Hughes was declared the winner of her title defense in Australia on Saturday. It was a pretty big moment, when you by judge's decision, and still WBA bantamweight title. It was a big deal. Daniel Hennessy made a big deal of it, and the problem is that after getting the boxers and after rereading the judges' scores, he realized that he did not.
He read them wrong.
the correct name as Chernica Johnson won in the decision, and he had to re-announce it. They had to re-raise the hand.
Was there then another fight?
No. So here's the thing, and so Joe Tessitore is calling this match. By the way, he says, "Is this guy for real?" And obviously, he took full responsibility. Did Hennessy, and was apologized. Not my best day at the office, he said. Here's the thing. Number one, Johnson, by all accounts, literally judges included, controlled the match from the last like 3 or 4 rounds, and it wasn't close. Like, I mean, she just controlled the match and was just trying not to get knocked out. And when he read the name, she just accepted it as if I guess I didn't do enough. Like, she was surprised, but she didn't make a big deal of it. She just hugged Nina Hughes and went on with her business. And same thing happened on the other side. So the respect there for each other, I think, was impressive. But boy, can you imagine if that had happened in a wrestling match, a state championship, let's say wrestling match, and obviously you have scores there.
Mm-hmm.
But if they raise the wrong hand or something very out of nowhere,
especially depending on who's in said match.
I mean, it would be crazy. And so
I'm surprised we've not heard any more of that with, some Steve Harvey memes or something like that.
Yeah, this one was rough. So I felt bad for the guy, but
that is pretty wild.
He actually, so it's funny because the referee, when they started to announce it, he like lifted his left hand and
then put it back down.
And then he's like, oh. It would have been even funnier if the referee had just gone ahead and lifted the left hand.
Without listening, just assumed. Yeah, I know what I saw.
I don't know about y'all, but I was in the middle of it.
Right. Yeah, I know who won this fight. Yeah. Wow.
Oh man. So anyway.
All right.
You know the memes that are going around, Mo, that talk about, we could stall an entire generation. Just
cursive and
stick shifts.
Non-digital clocks, different things like that. Yeah.
I mean, with Roman numerals and those we could just completely stop an entire. Yeah. Well, I don't know that to be true, but the evidence is here. As a Colorado woman's attempt to steal a pickup truck shortly after she was released from jail on a car theft charge. That's right. She got out of jail on a car theft charge.
She got out of jail for stealing a car
and then tried to steal a car. The problem was the truck had a stick shift, and she could not indeed drive the stick shift. She started the pickup. Apparently discovered she couldn't manage the manual transmission, got out and walked away and just left it to roll. Guess what it hit?
A police car.
A fire hydrant.
Oh.
Which is just as bad as a police car, if not worse, because, a police car is just damage to the car. A fire hydrant, could potentially be a water problem and all sorts of different things. She was arrested and now has a May 30th court date on new charges of motor vehicle theft, careless driving, driving without a license, and failing to report the crash.
And she wasn't even driving.
That's right. She couldn't drive. She did start it, though.
Wow.
Stick shift for the win there. The assist goes to the stick shift.
There you go. What is that? That's a theft prevention mechanism, huh?
It's like the old club. That's showing our age right there. There's no doubt there. You can't. Oh man. Let's see here. Let's go to Clinton, Maine. Take a trip across the country. And look, there are a lot of things that will cause, and we had this issue the other day. I mean, a tanker truck flipped up here on Nashville Highway and stopped traffic for a long time. And fuel spilled everywhere, and you got to be real careful with that stuff. You really do. I don't think a fuel spill would be anywhere near as bad as an overturned truck on I-95 was hauling 15 million honeybees. Honeybee. Just imagine when the honeybees leave the truck. 15 million
now
honeybees.
I know you've seen Tommy Boy, right?
Oh, yes.
Save yourself.
Yeah, this is exactly what it would be. I mean, an absolute problem. The good thing is the truck landed on its side. The bees were mostly contained. The goal was to save them, of course. The driver was secondary, apparently. He was taken to the hospital as a precaution. But the first responders did not know the cargo was bees until they got there. The guys did get stung on a regular basis. Everyone got stung at least a couple of times. The temperature was in the 40s and probably kept the bees from being rowdier than during the several hours it took to get the truck upright and removed by a tow truck. A beekeeper was summoned to corral the bees, and they were headed to Washington County in Maine, the center of the state's wild blueberry industry, where they were going to pollinate blueberry fields. Imagine, we got a truck. We'll go check and see if it's leaking fuel. It's not leaking fuel.
It's leaking bees.
But this could not be any worse at all. I mean, my God, how terrible. So anyway, that's a rough day. It's a rough day at the office if you're a first responder and you are not aware that your truck is your tipped over truck has bees in it. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
That's all I got. I mean, we're 3 minutes away.
Well, it's a pretty good bit. I am a little disappointed that there was no Florida.
I didn't see any. I didn't see any new Florida man news. So I don't know. Nothing.
Think things are calming down in Florida?
Maybe,
or are we just
getting
getting immune to it because it's not even wild and wacky anymore because it's Florida and it's just kind of expected, maybe.
I mean, I don't see the last one that I have found on this website that I used to use is from November. So it's they're slacking on their job, which is making my job much more difficult.
I hate when that happens.
So
when other people slack on their job and make my job more difficult.
It's a problem, and
it really is.
Thanks, we appreciate your help on getting this done. Could be like this one guy who wanted to be a police officer and went to the job interview and admitted to the crime or to a crime. Yeah, he was interviewing to be a police officer and he admitted to a crime in the interview.
Okay.
Maybe we don't do that.
I'm sure he didn't get the job.
No, he did not, in fact. The examiner...
He got a position, though, didn't he?
There you go. So...
Wow. Okay.
Anyway. That's all I got.
Well, fine. Be that way. That's it for Wild and Wacky Wednesday here on Main Street Sports Today. That's it for today's show. So, come back tomorrow, 2:00. Again, we will be joined in the second hour tomorrow by Virgil Herring talking a little PGA golf and a little area high school golf at the same time. So, you here tomorrow?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, well, I'm here tomorrow. So join me at 2:00 tomorrow here on Main Street Sports Today. We'll see you at 2:00.